It was a night like any other, but one moment changed everything. I had never believed in love at first sight, or in the power of a kiss to transform your world. But that night, everything I thought I knew was turned upside down. I had been sitting in the corner of the coffee shop, my eyes glued to my laptop screen, trying to focus on the never-ending to-do list. Then, out of nowhere, he walked in. His presence was magnetic, like the world shifted slightly with each step he took. His name was Alex, but I wouldn't learn that until later. For now, all I could do was stare, hoping he'd notice me. It wasn't long before our paths crossed. He smiled at me across the room, and for the first time, I felt the overwhelming pull of fate. There was no reason why I should have been so captivated by him. We were strangers after all. But when he finally approached, my heart raced. We exchanged a few words, and before I knew it, I was laughing. A genuine laugh, one I hadn't heard in months. The connection between us felt instant, like we'd known each other for a lifetime. Then, without warning, he leaned in. The kiss came out of nowhere, unexpected but soft, gentle yet full of an intensity that sent a shockwave through me. Time seemed to stop as his lips met mine, and in that moment, I could feel my heart skip, as though it was struggling to keep up with the emotions rushing through me. Everything faded, the world beyond us disappearing in a whirlwind of warmth and electricity. But just as quickly as it began, he pulled away. His eyes met mine with a look that was both uncertain and knowing. Before I could speak, he was gone, disappearing into the night as if nothing had ever happened. And there I was, left with the memory of the kiss that made my heart skip, wondering if I would ever see him again. Little did I know, that kiss was only the beginning of a journey I couldn't have predicted. The next few days passed in a blur. I kept replaying the kiss over and over in my mind, unable to shake the feeling that something had changed inside me. I couldn't stop thinking about Alex, his smile, the way he looked at me with a certain intensity, like he knew me in some way I didn't understand. But as much as I wanted to track him down, I had no idea where to begin. He had vanished after that kiss, leaving no trace behind. There was no last name, no phone number, nothing. Just the feeling of his lips on mine and the unanswered questions that followed. I returned to the coffee shop several times that week, hoping for a glimpse of him, but it was as if he had never existed. The staff didn't remember him, and none of the regulars knew who I was talking about. My friends thought I was crazy for obsessing over someone I barely knew, but something told me I couldn't let it go, not yet. Then, on the fifth day after that unforgettable moment, I received a letter. It was neatly folded with no return address and written in elegant script. As soon as I saw it, my heart skipped again, this time for a different reason. It was from Alex, or at least it seemed to be. The letter was short but filled with cryptic words. Fate has drawn us together, but the road ahead is not easy. Find me when you're ready to uncover the truth. There was no signature, just a strange symbol in the corner that I couldn't recognize. The letter left me with more questions than answers. Who was he really? What truth was he talking about? And most importantly, why did it feel like my life was suddenly part of a bigger story I hadn't signed up for? As I held the letter in my hands, I realized one thing for sure. I couldn't walk away from this. The kiss had changed everything, and now I was tangled in a mystery I couldn't ignore. The letter had haunted me for days. I kept reading the few lines over and over, trying to understand its meaning. Fate has drawn us together. Those words echoed in my mind. But what did that even mean? I had never believed in fate before, but after that kiss, everything seemed to shift. I couldn't deny the pull, the feeling that something beyond my control was at play. I had to know more. The symbol in the corner of the letter nagged at me. Something about it felt important, like it wasn't just a random design. I spent hours researching, hoping for some clue, but every attempt came up empty. It was as if the symbol didn't exist anywhere, or maybe it was hidden in plain sight. I decided to go back to the coffee shop, hoping to find some connection, some clue about who Alex was or what his message meant. I wasn't sure what I was expecting, but I couldn't just sit back and let this mystery slip away. As I walked through the door, the familiar scent of coffee filled the air, and I was immediately hit with a strange sense of déjà vu. Everything was the same, but it felt different now, like I was on the edge of discovering something life-changing. I walked to the counter where the barista, Sarah, was working. She smiled when she saw me. "Back again?" she asked, her tone light. "Yeah," I said, trying to sound casual. "Have you seen anyone unusual lately? A man, dark hair, kind of mysterious?" Sarah raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued. "Mysterious? That's not really my usual type of customer. But now that you mention it, there was a guy a few days ago who seemed a little off. He was in and out, like he was waiting for someone." "Did you talk to him?" I asked, my heart pounding. "No," she replied, "but he did leave something behind, a napkin with a strange drawing on it. I thought it was just a doodle, but now that you mention it, my pulse quickened. "Can I see it?" Sarah hesitated, but then disappeared into the back, reappearing moments later with a small napkin. My breath caught when I saw it. There, scribbled in the corner, was the same symbol from the letter. I looked up at Sarah, my heart racing. "Where did he go?" She shrugged. "I don't know. He left right after that." I stared at the napkin, feeling the weight of the moment. Something was happening, something bigger than I understood. Was Alex a part of something secret? And why had he left that symbol behind? The questions swirled around me, and the tension in my chest grew stronger. I was so close, yet still so far from the answers I needed. And as I stepped out of the coffee shop, the world felt even more mysterious than it had before. The symbol on the napkin was burned into my mind, and the more I thought about it, the more it felt like I was unraveling a thread that would pull me into something much larger than I ever anticipated. I couldn't stop thinking about the kiss, about Alex, about the cryptic letter that had set everything into motion. I knew I had to find him, but I also knew the answers might be more dangerous than I was prepared for. I started looking for any pattern, any sign that might lead me closer to him. I returned to the places I'd seen him before, the coffee shop, the park near my apartment, even the streets where I often walked alone at night. But no matter where I searched, he was nowhere to be found. The more I searched, the more it felt like I was chasing a ghost. It was as if Alex had vanished from existence the moment I kissed him. And yet, the letter, the symbol, the kiss itself, everything seemed to scream at me to keep going. Then, one evening, just as I was about to give up, my phone buzzed. A message. I didn't recognize the number. My heart skipped a beat as I opened the message, and there, in simple text, was a single sentence. "Meet me where it all began." My pulse quickened. I knew exactly what it meant. The coffee shop. That was where it all started. The kiss, the letter, everything. I couldn't ignore this, couldn't turn back now, but something about the message felt off. Why had he sent it now? And why so suddenly? It was like the whole thing was coming to a head, and I was walking straight into the unknown. With every step I took towards the coffee shop, the tension in my chest grew. I couldn't shake the feeling that this was the moment everything would change. My phone buzzed again. Another message. "Don't bring anyone." The words sent a chill down my spine. This wasn't just a meeting. Something was happening, and I was about to find out what. When I arrived at the coffee shop, the lights were dimmer than usual, casting long shadows across the room. The air felt thick with anticipation, and for a moment I wondered if I had made a terrible mistake. As I stepped inside, the door creaked and I froze. There, sitting in the farthest corner, was Alex, his gaze locked on mine, as if he had been waiting for me all this time. I stood there for a moment, frozen in place, as my eyes locked with Alex's. The room felt colder, the shadows creeping along the walls as though they were alive. His gaze didn't waver, but I could sense something was different. There was no smile this time, no spark of warmth, just an intensity that made the air around us feel charged with electricity. Every step I took toward him felt heavier, as though the weight of everything we'd experienced together was pressing down on me. "You came," Alex said, his voice softer than before, but there was an edge to it. It wasn't the calm reassurance I had been expecting. "I had to," I replied, my voice barely above a whisper. My heart raced, pounding in my chest as I sat across from him. I couldn't shake the feeling that this moment was critical, that whatever happened next would change everything. "Did you find it?" he asked, his eyes scanning my face as if searching for something. I didn't need to ask what he meant. I reached into my bag, pulling out the napkin with the symbol, the same one I had seen before. He didn't take it, but his gaze locked onto the drawing, his face darkening slightly. "I thought it was just a symbol," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "But it's more than that, isn't it? You didn't just leave it for me to find. You wanted me to understand it." Alex looked away for a moment, his jaw tightening. "I never wanted you to get involved," he muttered, almost to himself. "But now that you're here, it's too late." A chill ran down my spine. "Too late for what?" He hesitated, his fingers tapping on the table nervously. But then his eyes locked back onto mine, piercing through me. "The truth," he said, his voice low, almost a growl. "The truth is, we've been playing a dangerous game all along. This symbol, this thing you've been following, it's not just some random drawing. It's a mark, a curse even." My breath caught in my throat. A curse? My mind reeled. This wasn't what I had signed up for. I thought this was just some odd romantic twist, a mysterious kiss that led to a letter. But now, as Alex continued speaking, everything shifted. He wasn't just a man with an elusive past. He was tangled up in something far darker. "You've felt it, haven't you?" Alex's voice dropped even lower, and the weight of his words pressed into my chest. "The pull, the way it makes your heart race, your thoughts blur, that's the curse, drawing you closer to the center of it all, to me." I couldn't understand. "What are you saying? What curse?" He leaned forward, eyes glinting with something almost dangerous. "The symbol is a gateway, a way in. The more you search, the deeper you get pulled into it. And soon you'll understand what I mean when I say it's not just about us anymore." He paused, then added, "It's about everything." Suddenly, the door to the coffee shop slammed open, cutting the air like a knife. Both Alex and I turned to see who had entered. My heart skipped a beat when I saw a figure standing there, tall, hooded, and far too familiar. I couldn't see their face, but there was something about their presence that sent a wave of panic through me. Was this another part of the game? Another player? Before I could react, the figure stepped forward and my eyes widened in shock. It wasn't just anyone. It was someone I never thought I would see again. Someone I had left behind long ago. The truth of Alex's words suddenly hit me with a force I wasn't prepared for. This wasn't just about fate. It was about forces beyond our control, things that had been in motion far longer than I could have imagined. The figure stepped forward, revealing a familiar face beneath the hood. My breath caught in my throat as I recognized him. Liam, the one person I thought I had left behind years ago. the one person I never expected to see again. His piercing blue eyes locked onto mine, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. I felt the weight of every memory, every moment that had once been shared between us. Alex, what the hell is this? I managed to ask, my voice trembling. I didn't know if I was more shocked or confused. Was this some kind of twisted game? Alex's face had gone pale. He stood up slowly, eyes fixed on Liam, and the tension in the air thickened. It felt as though the walls of the coffee shop were closing in. I never wanted you involved in this, Alex said, his voice barely above a whisper, though there was an underlying anger in it. But Liam, he's not just some past lover. He's been following me, watching everything I've done. Liam's lips curled into a tight smile, but it wasn't one of warmth. It was cold, calculating. You think you can escape, Alex? You think running away from your past will protect her? He said, his voice low and almost mocking. I stepped back, heart racing. The room felt smaller, the air growing heavier with every passing second. What's going on? What does any of this have to do with me? Alex's eyes softened as he glanced at me, but the guilt in them was undeniable. The symbol you found, the one I left for you, it wasn't a mistake. It was meant to lead you to me, to Liam, to the truth. Liam chuckled darkly. The truth? The truth is, you've been tangled in a web that neither of you can escape. The kiss, the connection, it was always part of the plan. I turned to Alex, my mind racing. What plan? What are you talking about? Before Alex could answer, the lights in the coffee shop flickered and went out, plunging the room into darkness. A cold breeze swept through, sending chills down my spine. My heart pounded in my chest. The sudden change in atmosphere was unsettling, and I could feel the weight of something ominous in the air. In the pitch black, I heard a sharp intake of breath, followed by the unmistakable sound of a door creaking open. Then, a voice, a different voice, one that was unmistakably familiar, whispered from the darkness. The game is far from over. Suddenly, I realized that everything had been manipulated from the very start, and the truth was far more dangerous than I could have ever imagined. The kiss that had started everything, the one that made my heart skip, it was just the beginning. The voice from the darkness sent a chill through me, and my heart hammered in my chest. I tried to steady my breath, but it was hard to focus. Who was that? The door creaked open fully, and the faint outline of a figure appeared in the doorway. My pulse raced as the dim moonlight from outside revealed a familiar silhouette. Liam, you... My voice trailed off in disbelief as the person stepped into the light. It was Alex's older brother, Noah, the one person I had never expected to be involved. Surprised. Noah's voice was calm, almost too calm, as he walked toward us. You've been caught in the middle of something much bigger than you realize, Ella. This was never just about the kiss. It was about control. And we've been watching you. I looked at Alex, his face a mixture of regret and frustration. I didn't know, Ella, he said quietly. I never knew what Noah was planning. But now it's too late. Noah's smile was cold, and he crossed the room with a sense of finality. It's never too late to end this, he said, his eyes locking with mine. But the choice is yours. In that moment, I realized the truth. Love had always been a weapon in their hands, something to manipulate, control, and test. But I wasn't just a pawn in their game. I had the power to choose my own destiny. With a steady breath, I stepped forward, facing Noah and Alex. It's over, I said, my voice firm. I won't let you control me anymore. And with that, the room seemed to shift. The tension that had lingered for so long finally began to dissipate. The game was over. I had taken control of my own heart, and in the process, I found the strength to let go of the past. As I walked out into the night, I knew that while love could be complicated and full of unexpected twists, it was mine to define. And no one, no matter how connected to my past, could take that away from me.